My beloved wife cheated on me and my daughter isn't mine. How can I move forward as well as shake angry feelings? This is gonna be a long one. My wife and I were married for 21 years. I figured it was one of those miracle marriages because we barely argued, seemed I always be the best of friends, etc. Well, our 15-year-old daughter received a 23andMe thing for her birthday from a friend. And of course, it said we weren't related. She had me do a swab as well as her mother and her 14-year-old brother. Only her brother and I seemed to be related. So I did a paternity test afterwards and lo and behold, she wasn't my ducking child. My ex-wife cried and pleaded for me to hear her out, but I just went numb to her. It would be one thing to cheat, but to find out the light of my life isn't even to related to me killed me. Don't get me wrong, I love my daughter with all of my heart. She's still my daughter no matter what, but what's scaring me most is my seemingly vindictive desires. I've never been like this, and I know it's out of anger, but I want her to suffer so bad. The kids absolutely hate her. Which on one end helps that desire, but I know that deep down, she is still their mother, and I don't really want them to hate her. Her parents and siblings all are mortified at her. Her sister hasn't spoken to her in a couple months. We all grew up together, so it hit hard for everyone. Again, this makes me feel great, which in turn scares me, because I don't actually want her life to go into shambles. But I can't help feel euphoric when I learn something in her life is falling apart. Both children are living with me, as they don't view their mother in a favorable light at all right now. I'm thinking about having the talk about them going to talk to her, because as of now, they refuse. The part that breaks my heart the most is that my daughter seems to be overcompensating her roles of a daughter. She makes sure to tell me how much she loves me, and is, in essence, being the perfect daughter. But I can tell it's because she knows that she isn't biologically mine, but she desperately wants me to know how much she values me. I'm actually going to talk to her tonight about that. To tell her that she doesn't have to act differently. I just really want to know how to shake the sadness and angry, vindictive feelings. I want to move forward as well as help my children move forward so they can worry about school and being teens. Please, any advice will help. TL, Doctor, wife of 21 years cheated on me and my 15-year-old daughter isn't mine. I've been having sadistic vindictive feelings towards her and I want to put those away as well as help my children move past it as well. Update, beloved wife cheated on me and my daughter isn't mine. I know it's been some time but it actually destroys me to write about it. For some clarification, we did talk about it and it was in the fair. I just didn't want to write that part out because it physically makes me shake with anger to talk about it. My daughter and I are both in therapy. I am taking the advice of my therapist and the many commenters on my last post, and am not going to force my kids to talk to their mother. They are old enough to understand the gravity of the situation and have their own feelings about it. Because of this, they will need to take their own time gathering up how they feel and dealing with it with any help they need from me, of course. The pain my daughter is going through seems to have healed somewhat. I've gotten her to fully believe that my love for her will never change and that she will always be my daughter. Her pain seems not to be about our relationship anymore, but her newly found trust issues and trauma from the family being broken apart. She's also confided in me that she feels like it's all her fault, and that if she never brought the kid home, the family would still be together. I hugged her and let her know that none of this was her fault, and that she was only looking to do something fun with the family. She had no idea what would happen and that she should never blame herself. I've had one conversation with my SDBXW, in which she begged and pleaded with me to forgive her and that she would cherish me for the rest of her life. She said it was stupid, it meant nothing, and that she regrets it 100%. She also said that she believes our love can withstand it. I told her that if our love was that strong, she wouldn't have felt the need to find sexual comfort in someone else. She is currently staying with her parents. I've communicated with her sister, and apparently she's borderline suicidal. They are trying to get her help, but she refuses, as the only thing she wants to do is see me and the children. Because of this, I'm waiting to serve her the divorce papers. I don't want to add on any more things to destroy her mental health. I've brought up talking to her with my son and daughter, to which they adamantly refused. I am going to respect their wishes and give them their own time to cope. I have this nagging feeling that she does not actually care about how it made any of us feel, and that she only cares about the fact that she's about to lose her picture-perfect family and the comfortable life that we had, and that it's her fault. I have no desires to try to fix the relationship and move forward. That's all for now. Update 2. Beloved wife cheated and my daughter isn't mine. It's been a long while, so I figured I'd give you guys one last update. My daughter is doing a lot better. Our relationship seems to actually have gotten stronger since this whole thing. And it's not even act. We hang out more and have a lot of heart-to-heart talks. She went to her mother's parents' house to see her mother. From what I heard, she mostly just talked to her grandparents and didn't say much to her mom. My son is also doing fine. His experience is different from daughter's because he actually is my child. He's still angry at his mom for betraying me, but he's coming around and talked to her more when they went to visit her. He's still hesitant, because he's a protective little brother and hates that his sis felt awful. I actually give him credit for keeping her sane. He talked to her, went on walks with her, and he didn't give up on her. I told him I was proud of him for sticking by her side. I also talked to him about how he feels because I realized that during all of this, I kind of dismissed him since he was my bio child. But he's going through his stuff too, and we have many talks now, and he's an IC. As for my wife, I tried to do MC to see if there was any hope. I tried to believe her that it was the only affair and that she didn't know she was carrying her child. But it didn't work out. I couldn't look at her or speak to her in MC, and when I did say something, it was just about how bad it made me feel. She would sob and beg on her knees, but it didn't change anything. I couldn't believe that she'd never cheated again, and I believe she knew it wasn't her child but just chose me because I was the safest bet. I'd been played like a fool and I'm done with it. I served her at her parents' house and she flew into hysterics. She screamed at the top of her lungs on the ground. I couldn't understand a word she was saying, but I just felt numb to it. Her mother tried to beg me to forgive her, but her father just walked me out to the front, and without saying a word, gave me a firm handshake and nod with a face that said I understand completely. We got into contact with my daughter's her bio dad and got his medical info. She said she doesn't want anything to do with him because she already has a dad. I'm not gonna try to talk her out of it either. Though, I have a fear that she'll want to contact him one day and become very close with him, and that I'll fade out. But I try to push that to the back of my mind and only let it out during IC. That's where we are now. Me and the kids are trying our best to push through. This will most likely be the last update unless something big happens, which I doubt. Thank you to everyone who helped me and checked up on me. I really appreciate all the help and advice. Redditors' reactions to first post. Redditor 1, this situation is way above Reddit's pay grade. You and the children need therapy. ASAP. Having said that, let me offer a few pointers from my own experience. Kids don't care about biology. Your daughter will always see you as her father. I love my 2 stepdaughters as much as my 2 biological daughters. Full stop. But she might be worried about you leaving, as I'm sure she's picking up on the anger you have towards her mother. She might be wishing she could never see her mother again, and then making the jump to assuming you are having similar thoughts, and now could act on them as she isn't your daughter. You absolutely need to reassure her that you are in that dad-daughter relationship with her for the long haul. You need to channel that anger to something productive, or at least not needlessly destructive. Needful destruction could be finally demolishing that old garden wall that's been sitting there for 10 years. Assuming you are in the States, my understanding is that 14 is the age at which most courts will start to take the child's opinion under consideration. You should be consulting with your lawyer, you have one, right? About how you should be handling the children with regards to seeing their mother. In my opinion, you should be assuring the children that if they want to see their mother, that you will understand, not hold it against them. As you shouldn't, stay strong, and channel that anger into something productive. Get therapy. Talk to other infidelity survivors. Don't drink to excess. Start working out if you don't already. Do stuff with the kids, a day at a time. That's how the hurt and anger go away. You just have to distract yourself until enough time has passed. Good luck. Redditor 2, please don't force your teenage kids to interact with their mother. As a child whose father forced him to see his mother, I hated them both for it. I understood why, but it didn't change how I felt. Just like you, your kids need time to process this. Redditor 3, I don't necessarily think that anger is harmful as long as it doesn't push you to bad decisions. You should be angry. And that anger will get you through the early part. It will be replaced soon enough. And your children should be angry at her as well. They have grown up with a liar. They may or may not come to not hate her. My mother's infidelity in my teens has remained with me for 40 years now. I have no use for her and she can die alone when time comes. Sorry you have joined us in this club, but there are good and helpful people here. Redditor follow-up, thank you. This but she asked their mother garbage has done more way harm than good and it needs to die yesterday. What the mother is experiencing is accountability. I know the idea of doing this to a mother is foreign to some, but trust me it's a good thing. Redditor 4, you're still carrying the water for your wife, stop that. Let the kids decide by themselves if when they want to talk to their mother, it's their relationship. Redditor's reactions to updates. Redditor 1, you'll never fade out. You've been there too long. You know her too well. She trusts you intently. It doesn't mean she won't one day get curious. It has nothing to do with you. You'll always be her one dad. Because you were always there. So don't take it too harshly if one day she does get curious. It's natural. It's genetics. But it doesn't even come close to replacing the nurture that you've given. Redditor follow-up, may I ask a question? How do you get the thought of your non-biological daughter-son from replacing you? Just the thought of me getting replaced by my child's bio dad completely ruins my day. Redditor 2, paternity fraud is vile, it boggles the mind how it's not illegal. Redditor follow-up, at least you should be able to sue the biological father for financial compensation. Redditor 3, your father-in-law is the real man. He's understand your situation and support your decision. Get divorce. Move forward. Don't forgive cheaters. She's thinking you're in fool so she's hiding this secret. Redditor 4, trust your daughter. That is my only message to you. Redditor 5, totally reasonable to divorce. Besides the affair, paternity fraud is really one of the worst things you could do to anyone. I have read a few stories like this. I don't think I have ever read one where they stayed together. You will be okay, you seem to know who you are. Eventually you will move on, and more than likely so will your ex-wife. I think you're right with what you said. I think in your other thread, part of all this emotion is her fear of the unknown. This is truly a sad story, what a terrible waste, but I guess the silver lining is your daughter. One piece of advice I might give is, you said that your daughter had a time where she was overcompensating because she was worried that you might blame her or you guys drifting apart. Now you are feeling that way. Maybe you two should get some IC about this together and talk about it. Your daughter is a victim in this too. Part of her identity was changed overnight. Infidelity is the worst. Redditor follow-up, I totally believe in once a cheater, always a cheater. So far nothing come close in dispelling that beliefs. Not from Reddit or in real life. Plus she was committing fraud too by passing someone else's child as his. That showed malicious intent and no remorse whatsoever. Never take back a cheater. Once burned is enough to not touch her ever again. It's only logical. We're smart to not have her around you ever again. Redditor 6, like you said, I was the safest bet. Paternity fraud, more powerful than love. You were correct to have her serve the divorce papers. Big sister and little brother are bonding stronger than ever with you in the middle. You sir have done an amazing job. Keep it going. Also do encourage you children to re-bond with their mother at some point in life. The mother still loves them dearly. Her mother tried to beg me to forgive her, but as you have already established you are not taking the SDBXW, so forgive her if you want to and move on. Your former Phil is an outstanding man. He understood where you were coming from and would not tolerate this kind of behavior if it had happened to him. Kudos to him. If at some point in life that your daughter wants to seek out bio father, then let her know that you will support her. This is going to be difficult for you, but do respect her decision. You will never fade from your children's lives. Please stop doubting yourself and rid of this vile thought. As for your STBXW, her perfect family was merely a 15-year fantasy. Lived a 15-year-old lie. Now she will live the remainder of her life broken, ashamed if she is, live with her parents if they allow it. My God, do I feel for her parents. Redditor 7, you'll never just fade away. Not the same thing, But I was married to a man who had a 6-year-old and divorced him when she was 13. She's 20 now and we're still in contact. Love is love. Redditor 8, I watched your story for the first time on YouTube. I am happy because despite the situation you remain strong for your kids, and your daughter in fact has an awesome father. If you believe on God, he is going to reward you. If you don't, be sure that you will have an excellent karma. Your STB ex-wife doesn't deserve a man like you. She has to confront the consequences of her acts. She cheated on you, now she loses you. You deserve a better person and a better life. Thank you for the update. Sorry, English is not my first language. Greetings from Colombia.